How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to a different type of video that I have actually wanted to make for a while now, and I'm finally able to make it. And this is because of reasons that you will see soon enough. So if you actually enjoy these type of videos, or if you want to see more, let me know, comment down below, consider subscribing so that I can make more. And I also have other series on the channel like solo flawless content and challenge videos for Destiny. So if you enjoy them, you know where to find them. That out of the way, let's get right into it. So for starters, I want to preface something that I think is very important and will add a lot of context, and that is I have stasis on all three of my characters, Warlock, Hunter, and Titan. I have the Splintered seal for Europa. I basically have everything on the planet done, including the Descendant seal. And I say this to add context and reference to I have spent a lot of time on this planet doing all these things combined over the last couple months, maybe even a year. So that out of the way, let's begin. You probably clicked on this video for the title alone, so let's start now. Destiny might go down as one of the most beautiful and most detailed games of the last century. The architecture, map design, the structure, and even the scale alongside many other things really set a tone for the type of world and environment we are exploring and becoming a part of. There's beauty to be appreciated inside of a space that we are unfamiliar with. There is always something to take away, memories to be made, something to look forward to. But you see, there is a problem. There is a underlying issue that is present, although it is not visible. It is compounded by the scale of the unknown. The Dreadnought in the Throne World shaped this very carefully, although very dangerous. It is still an inviting place with a very inviting feeling. Now, although that is a reality, we also know that we are not supposed to be here, yet we thread carefully. Places like the Menagerie or Castellum evoke the same feeling, but not to the same scale. A direct contrast would be the Solstice of Heroes event in the EAZ or the Guardian games. These two polar opposites create a balance. Across Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, we have explored many planets in our solar system, many moons, stars, leviathans, and such. Yet, there is a problem. The gas giant known as Jupiter has a dominant presence in our solar system, an absolute juggernaut of a celestial body. Quite remarkable in many ways, yes, but not necessarily our point of focus, but rather one of its moons, Europa. Europa completely destroys any balance created by the examples previously mentioned. That is because the sense of dread this moon has is not only sinister and grim, but it is also inviting, conflicting since the unknown is so vast in a celestial body of this magnitude. Yet we are pulled right in. With some spoiler-free and major storyline details aside for another day, we are suddenly urged to pay this moon a visit. To our finite knowledge, there is an unknown force born from darkness that is just waiting for us, waiting to be discovered. Moons don't just appear. One of this sheer size and scale of this magnitude has been around for a long time. We could presume thousands if not millions of years, drifting around the cold, dead space waiting, until we set foot on its mysterious grounds. Ever since its introduction, I have always felt a very uncomfortable feeling creeping up my spine. Gameplay aside, regardless of how fun the campaign for Beyond Light was, something always felt off. Europa creates more questions than it has answers, so let's start with its obvious atmosphere. At times, it is very hard to see no more than meters from you when this overpowering yet empty snowstorm arises. Everything stops for a second as the threat no longer becomes an alien race attempting to kill you, but nature taking its course, if we can even call it nature. You see, there is so much more to Europa than just a new subclass in snow. From the cure to mortality to a touch of malice born from the very unknown, it is very difficult to accept certain things as just pure coincidence. These snowy hills make you feel like you're constantly being watched over, stalked like prey, and this is not something out of place to feel as there is actually life beneath the ice. Creatures that most likely tower over us miles upon miles, just nesting and existing below our very feet. The Exostranger lets us know how scientists met their demise whilst attempting to look for answers deeper than what the eye can see.
Expedition rovers, Braytech employees. Many were sacrificed to the study of this ravine. Not that Clovis Bray cared. Braytech researchers dropped a camera down there once. You wouldn't believe what they saw swimming around in the dark.
Across its landscape, we can see civilization, or what's left of it. Decaying buildings, frozen in time, make up the background scenery as we explore some of these sectors. This was once home to people, researchers, who at the time didn't know that. They were mere inches away from humanity's biggest flaw being negated entirely. Let's talk about the Deepstone Crypt raid. The name alone tells us enough already. A completely hidden and secret world lies beneath us, technology so grand that it is almost hard to believe it was man-made. Or was it? Why would all of this be built and left to rot, forgotten, lost forever in one of the darkest and coldest corners of time and space, by a quote, a dying race that suffers from mortality? There are many exos that are lying around Europa. None, coincidentally, they lie in sectors, snowstorms, and even places where you wouldn't think to look for regularly. These exos were running from something or were killed off and left to rot. Back to Deep Stone Crypt. On the other hand, after we traverse a hailstorm guided by nothing else and torches that remain lit despite the conditions they are in, struggling to keep our footing straight due to the lack of visibility and strong freezing winds, beneath lies an endless void. Presuming you push through the fallen guarding the crypt and make it in, there are several protocols set to deter you and me out. Now this facility stops to feel more like another useless building where we shoot enemies. The most captivating thing about this whole experience, yet where a lot of tension lies, is where we end up in space. Whilst the sense of urgency fills the room as we crash land into Europa with the Fallen, in what ironically feels like a death race for survival, we barely even put a dent into Europa. Backtracking to moments before this, if you haven't felt like you are being watched, or the sense of dread that embodies this liminal atmosphere, you are most certain to do it now as you jump across a satellite station in the dead of space. Scale is suddenly more important than anything else in the room. We as Guardians have faced countless encounters, but none compared to the absolute sheer risk at stake here. There is absolutely nothing that can help or be done if you were to slip. Of course, this isn't the only sense of danger like I previously mentioned. We should make a note that the pyramid that has settled here imbued in darkness, landed or stranded, forgotten about, or here for a reason. The Witness and whatever other disciples it has conjured with him are familiar with Europa and its importance. The Fallen and the Vex are too. Aramis knew something we didn't. Callus knew something that we didn't. There are many stepping stones that we can follow to understand their descent into madness. Actually, I shouldn't say madness. Why are we to assume that Aramis was really in the wrong here? Why are we to believe that we are the good guys? Savathun makes it abundantly clear that the truth is a simple yet complex thing to grasp. We have had our doubts as to whether the darkness is as bad as we make it out to be, but to no one's surprise, here lies another pillar of the unknown, stasis. Created from the darkness, as a gift to its wielder, we are now embracing it. Is this what we came here for? Surely this can't be all that we are here for. The Deep Stone Crypt is the origin point of all the exos we know to exist. Taking this information in leads us to an important character. Elsie Bray, once human, now exo after surviving a genetic disease created by her father, Clovis II. His sole motive was to ensure his name was held to a pedestal, well respected, ensuring its legacy. The darkness was to empower his family even if it meant the death of humanity. Clovis is also responsible for creating Siva, which is a story for another day. One man, slowly decaying, wanting to be immortalized by cheating death, and decided to create an exo for himself to transfer his mind into a robot body, that which he succeeded at. Elsie Bray tells us in a quest that found on Europa called A Hard Rain Falls, how the fountain of youth created by Clovis, powered by darkness, is what gave immortality to Europa's exos. If we take a moment to analyze this carefully, this man was so merely afraid of dying that he did not research for a cure to immortality. He created one. But it was imbued with darkness. The Deep Stone Crypt is not a placeholder for a raid to take place, but rather, if we had ignored, could have led to our own demise. The pyramid on Europa is massive to scale. It is hard not to acknowledge its intimidating presence. We were introduced to darkness in a very subtle way, yet never batting an eye. Stasis became one of the best subclasses the game has had to offer, but it also displays a variety to it that we must appreciate. The darkness is capable of many things, from immortality to abilities that are too strong to comprehend. So what now? We are literally threatened by the crypt alongside humanity, as we speak. To the surprise of no one, we kill Tanix, save Europa, and the rest is history. That is what we know. There truly is no way to explain the feeling this planet gives except empty. It is a desolate wasteland with nothing but ice. Seeing these empty skyscrapers and this building that triggers nothing but monumentality, I can't help but feel like there's more to it rather than just background decoration. Truly, there has to be more that we haven't found yet.